Yeah, and it's my pleasure to take a call on the Land Transport, Road Safety and Other Matters Amendment Bill 2010. The committee stage is part one, particularly because, as some of my colleagues have mentioned previously, this is actually a really big issue in the Waikato, where I come from, and in particular in Hamilton. And I know that the local government members have been trying to confuse the issue by telling people who are concerned about the lack of leadership from the government on the issue of actually reducing the legal blood alcohol limits for drink driving, the lack of leadership from this government, that they've been saying to them, well, look, that's not an issue for the alcohol law reform bill, that's a land transport bill issue, and we'll deal with it then. And Mr Bennett's shaking his head, but I do know, because I have been in a meeting where Mr McIndoe has in fact said exactly that to submitters who wanted to submit on that issue to the alcohol law reform bill. And they were told by the government MPs, no, look, wrong bill, and trying to look sympathetic about it, trying to look like they agree with the audience, but you'll get your chance when the Land Transport Amendment Bill comes forward. But of course, now the Land Transport Amendment Bill is before us. Where are those Hamilton MPs on the issue of reducing the legal blood alcohol on this? Well, they're not pushing for it to be included in this. Myself and Nanaia Mahuta will be the only Hamilton-based MPs who will push for a lowering of the blood alcohol limits. Wow. In Hamilton, where I live in Hamilton, Mr Bennett, as you well know, where I live in Hamilton, as you well know, but thank you for allowing me to clarify that. Yes, I do, Mr Bennett. You might want to look at the new the new register that's come out. And, of course, I do live in Hamilton. And that member will have to swallow his words and will have to swallow them many more times. But look, back to the issue. The issue is about who in Hamilton is prepared to stand up for the view so clearly expressed in that survey from the Waikato Times, where 68% of the people of Hamilton said that they thought that the blood alcohol limit was too high, too low, that it wasn't good enough. Wasn't good enough. So what they said, only 19% of the people surveyed in that survey of 418 people in Hamilton said that they agreed with the current limit, So the current government's on the side of 19% of Hamiltonians. That's where they sit on this issue. So it will be the other 86% who will be looking towards this side of the House to represent their views in saying that that actually ought to be dropped, that the limit ought to be lower, because that's what Hamiltonians firmly believe. Why do they believe that? They believe that because they've had enough of the carnage on the roads. They've had enough of that, and they've also had enough of the issue of how alcohol actually affects our entire community, and it affects it to the detriment of the rest of the community, and they've had enough of that. So they want leadership on this issue. And sadly, through this bill, they are not getting leadership from this government on that issue, but they can look to the Labour benches for that leadership, because it's Labour that's prepared to stand up and vote for a reduction in the blood alcohol limit for drink driving for over 20-year-olds. And I know, Mr Speaker, that you've ruled that land transport, road safety and other matters perhaps has nothing to do with railways, but I can say that it has everything to do with other forms of transport, because that is a way that road safety actually can be improved. And this government is absolutely opposed to putting in a passenger train service for Hamilton and Auckland. And that's another issue that Hamiltonians will have to look to this side of the House to actually get their issue addressed with that. Because it's only Nanaia Mahuta and I who actually stand up and actually fight for getting a passenger train service between Hamilton and Auckland. And that, of course, Mr Chair, will improve road safety, which I believe that is what we're debating, Mr Quinn. That will, along with some of the measures in this bill, improve road safety. But is that government interested in pursuing that? Not only are they not interested in pursuing it, they are in outright opposition to actually getting that very logical, sensible service between the fourth largest and the largest city in our country.
The Honourable Tauhanari.
Mr Chair.